Hello there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whenever you are watching this. I am the CHALL, and today, Chall Chats, the pre-match press, looking ahead to tomorrow's game on Good Friday against Crawley. Unfortunately, I am not there. I know, it's a shame, I just couldn't get the travel money in time, but I'm sure those of you who are going to have a fantastic time will be watching it, obviously, anyway from home. So we're going to give you a match reaction either on the day or on the Saturday just to give you some content during the weekend. But we've got the look ahead today. We're going to be looking at Grant McCann's press conference, picking out some of the key points, sharing my thoughts on all of that. So before we get started, make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss another YouTube video. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers and 500,000 views. Let's get there as soon as possible, please. And for now, guys, let's have a look at everything to do with the look ahead to Crawley Town and some of the key points from the press conference. Just to give you a quick heads up as well, guys, make sure you send your thanks. You've got a button when you're watching this video which says thanks. So you can buy a super thanks which directly supports this YouTube channel. It helps fund some of the trips that we do, and it also helps fund some of the equipment we buy to improve the quality of the channel and the content. So please send your super thanks into the channel. Let's keep supporting this channel as much as we can. If you can, I know it's hard very much in the cost of living crisis, but if you can send something, that'd be very much appreciated. So let's get straight on then, and let's talk about the press conference. So starting off with Richard Wood's new deal. So we've got some bullet point notes from McCann's official paragraphs from the press conference. So working to negotiate behind the scenes ahead of the next year or two in terms of overall. Wood is a big part of what we do, what we want to do, sorry. And that's one thing that I noted very, very early on was that Wood has been integral. And we saw that on the pitch. We've seen that on the pitch, definitely with that partnership with Anderson. He's integral to what we do going forward as well. A big reason why he signed is that he's so robust, and I think that's very, very key in terms of his play as well. Positioning, know-how, and his leadership skills are very big traits of Richard Wood. According to Grant McCann, he's certainly helped Tom Anderson's performances, and I think that's been a big positive. I think Tom Anderson's had a great run of form so far. We're starting to see more and more of the Tom Anderson before the injury at Fleetwood 3 years ago. So that's been a major positive for me. Personally, I know for a lot of people as well, we started to see more of the Tom Anderson that we know we want to see and we really want to see. And I think Richard Wood's played a part in that, but also Tom Anderson's been a massive help to himself in that as well. Um, he's Wood's great in terms of organising people as well, and we've seen that. We've seen the way he talks on the pitch. We see the way he leads people out. So again, major positive there, and I think this is a wonderful, wonderful deal. In terms of contract negotiations in general, details are yet to be announced. However, there's a couple of others that have signed new contracts, unnamed players at this stage, and they'll be adding to those who sign in the summer. So couple more players have signed new contracts. I'm sure maybe one more will probably follow, in my opinion. But we've got a couple, so two players unnamed at this stage that have signed new contracts. We're waiting to hear official details as to who that is. If you want me to give a prediction, I'm going with Luke Molineux and Zane Westbrook. I know some people have guessed Molineux and Biggins, maybe. I can get why Biggins could be on there. I know a lot of people say, oh, he's hit 125-yarder every now and then and things like that. We're starting to see a better version of Harrison Biggins, so it wouldn't be the end of the world if he signed. But my prediction is Molineux and Westbrook. It all depends on how much football they've been promised for next season, if they have been promised anything for next season already, which those conversations might not have happened. If they've been promised a certain amount of football and they're like, I want to go somewhere else for more regular first team football and think they can get that elsewhere, they won't sign a new contract. People who don't think they can get more football here will not sign. The thing is, though, and McCann talks about this later in the conference as well, and this goes very easily into strength and depth, which we'll speak about later. For example, Waters and Nixon didn't even make the bench in the last game. So, he's having to choose his bench now. He's having to choose his bench now, which is very, very, it's good to see strength and depth. It's great to have this ability to choose who we can bring into the starting 11 and who we can also choose on the bench as well now, because that's a major, major sign that, you know, our strength in depth has massively improved since last season. Um, but in terms of the couple of players that I think they've signed new contracts, I'm guessing Westbrook and Molineux. I think Westbrook's extension clause will be triggered, and I think that Molineux will sign a new 2-year contract, maybe 2.5 years, depending on certain situations. And of course, we'll add to that in the summer as well, as Grant has said. Early business. There was a question about how early we've done our business in the past this season. Grant McCann says he's trying to create a competitive group. We've got a great group of lads. And we've seen a team that is top 4-5 in the division since January, and in fact, top of the division in the last month in terms of the form. And the form doesn't lie. We are the form team. I think only Mansfield has gained more points in the turn of the year since, apart from us. I think Mansfield are the only ones now. So, I mean, Mansfield. I've said to many Mansfield fans, and I've said this again publicly, if Mansfield bottle top 3 and then don't go up in the playoffs this season, I don't know how Mansfield keeps their manager, especially with his contract out in the summer. I think that this is Mansfield's year. I'm not worried about them dropping out of the top 3 now. I'm confident this is Mansfield's year to go up this year, and congratulations to them. So for me, I think that we're creating a good group. We're the informed team at the minute, and hopefully that continues on Friday, and that continues going into Tuesday as well against Wrexham, where my good friend Tom from St. Louis, Missouri, is coming down for the game. We're going to get a video at the ground. We are going to have the usual match review, but we're going to do a different style match report at the stadium where it'll be from his perspective. So we're going to kind of get a sort of rundown of his day, a bit of experience of his day at the Eco Power Stadium. So that video will be coming alongside our match review. Probably we'll do that outside the ground. I'll probably charge the mics up for Tuesday and probably bring the mics outside the ground. And we'll do like a review outside the ground with him. So that's probably going to be the plan. So that's what we'll do going forward for that game. So there'll be a couple of videos from the Wrexham game. We're going to have the review from the Crawley game here in the studio on the Friday or the Saturday. So stay tuned for that one anyway. But yeah, overall, like we said, we've got a really good form team, and I'm confident for Tuesday, and hopefully we'll get a good win on Friday as well. Strength and depth-wise, as we said, Waters and Nixon didn't even make the bench in the last game. In terms of the injury situation, it's frustrated, but that's in terms of the run of games as well, especially with us hitting form in the new year or just after New Year's Day. I think for us hitting that form in the last month, it's frustrating, but that's the winner in him. That's the winner in Grant McCann. He wants to win as many as possible. He tries not to worry about injuries, though. And you know what? I like a manager that tries not to worry about injuries. I like that because it means that they're cool, calm, collected, don't use it as an excuse, and focus on their own performances. In terms of an injury update, we've still got a healthy squad. As spoken about on the evening with Clifford Grant on Tuesday night, and as spoken about at the press conference today, Jules Miller's back on the grass. He may be back in pre-season alongside Bobby Faulkner. Senior isn't quite ready yet, and Lawler is back training on the pitch. So there's some positive news there. Senior not quite back yet, but I'm sure Maxwell will cover that role for the rest of this season at the very least. On the Forest Green victory, it was a tough game. Anticipated it would be a tough game. Didn't expect them to sit back as much as Forest Green did. And I spoke about this in the review. I spoke about how Forest Green for the first half sat back with a flat 5 and really frustrated us. We really couldn't break them down, which was frustrating. But as fans, we were patient. We stuck with it. And in the second half, the goals came. Second half, we upped the tempo. We were pleased to get the job done. Now, going into the last 8 games, including Easter weekend, McCann sort of thought back to his time at Hull City where he won League One. 8 games left, and we'll approach them as we always do. We'll see how many wins we get. It's a very strong Crawley team. He was impressed with what Scott Lindsay's done, and I'm impressed with what Scott Lindsay's done, 100%. It's 2 teams that really want to play football. They've got the makings of a good game. Crawley can play through you if you don't get the press right, and that is very important to note. They will play through you if you don't if you make mistakes in the press, they will press you back and they'll press you back in spade loads. So looking ahead to Crawley Town then, looking ahead to Crawley, previewing this game, what are we looking at with Crawley Town? Well, we're looking at a team that are really high up. They've exceeded everyone's expectations. Scott Lindsay, I've been mightily impressed with what he's done with that team. They pressed very, very well. They've played high up. They've done the attacking duties they need to do. They pressed in the final third. They put teams under a lot of pressure. There has been games where they sat off a little bit, but for the most part, they've pressed very well. And Danilo Orsi has been a revelation for Crawley, and Kalaidi Lodos as well. They're the two players in the attacking areas that I want to keep my eyes on. Lodos and um, Orsi. Both those guys have been revelations for Crawley. They've been investing in non-league football, bringing the future of non-league football into League Two straight away. It was a massive, massive gamble. We've done that many, many times, bringing the likes of De Grucci through, bringing Ed Williams through, if you remember that one from Kidderminster Harriers. Kidderminster fans spoke to us about Ed Williams and said, if you put him with a better group of players, he will shine. In my opinion, with Ed Williams, he just didn't get that consistent opportunity to prove himself. And it didn't work at the end of the day. He went to America's lower divisions. I don't know what he's doing now. I need to double check where he is now. But yeah, there was a player in there. Don't get me wrong. There was a player in there, and Ed Williams. It just didn't work. So for me, I think that it was always going to be a gamble bringing in those players from lower divisions, from the non-league division, but it has paid off, and it's paid off in spade loads. Like I said, there is a couple of Crawley players in there that I think any side would be lucky to have. Orsi and Lodos being two of them. Corey Adai in goal. I mean, if we don't get Lototale, he's someone that I want to look at. Really tall goalkeeper, consistent shot stopper, and he's just been amazing. No disrespect to Crawley, but we know that at least a few of these players are going to get scouted by other clubs. I don't think Crawley fans are stupid. They'll know they'll get scouted. I think Adai, Kaladi Lodos, and Danilo Orsi are the top three on the scouting list from that club. Adai is someone I think we should be looking at in terms of if we're looking at for a new goalkeeper. You know, he's tall, he's agile, he makes great saves, he's a great shot stopper, great reactor of the ball. We know that he's comfortable with the ball at his feet. We know that he's can sweep the play as well. We know he can play the modern day keeper role in the sweeper keeper style of position. And for me, I think that he's a fantastic player for Crawley, and he's going to be very, very hard to break down. We with the attacks are going to have a major job on their hands keeping Adai, you know, keeping Adai busy and breaking through Adai as well. I think Crawley's defense has been decent as well. So we're gonna have to be really on our A game in terms of creating chances, putting the chance in the back of the net. We're gonna have to rely on Adelaide working his magic. We're gonna have to rely on Ironside or Biamu, whoever starts, going into that game and really going at them from minute one in terms of creating final third opportunities. We know that Wood and Anderson's going to have, hopefully, going to try their best to keep Orsi quiet. We know that Sterry and Maxwell are going to have those channels on tap. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. So going into that game then, I've gone with a predicted lineup of Lototalo and goal, a back four from left to right of Maxwell, Wood, Anderson, and Sterry. We've got a midfield of Bailey and Craig. I've put Molyneux on one wing, Adelakin on the other wing. In the attacking midfield role, I've gone with Biggins. I think he's earned the right to start this one. And then we've got Biamu up front, in my opinion. On the bench, I'm sure we're going to have Jones. We're going to have Ironside. We're going to have Olawu. We're going to have Tommy Rowe. We're going to have maybe Billy Waters comes into that bench potentially. Cal Hurst might be on that bench. So the bench could be anything. So like I said, Waters and Nixon missed out even on the bench in the last game. So that just proves the strength and depth we've got at the moment. So for me, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what bench we choose. But I think starting 11 wise, I think it'll be pretty much the same as Forest Green, to be honest with you. So in terms of a predicted scoreline, I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. I guessed 2-0 for Forest Green. And I got that right. Those of you who are around the stadium know that I predicted that scoreline. So I'm going to go with 2-1 on this one. A 2-1 win. I think Crawley will score. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet against these guys, but it's got the makings of very much a real modern football match. Two pressing teams against each other, going toe to toe. There will be goals. I just think it'll be a tight one, but I think we'll just edge it. But there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching this little preview and pre-match press reaction. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, and for now, I'm the CHALL. Ta-ra for now. That is full time.